welcome back to the Bearded Bro Show podcast. Today I have Ryan on the show once again.
What the heck? Yeah, I'm back.
What Ryan just said before we start, well, during the recording, the part that I cut out is saying we went from stressed to laughing it up before recording this, and I guess that's is kind of the mood you have to get in for these types of things. We're actually testing a different program to be able to record on. Won't go into detail about that, but it's been kind of a stressful night, but we're just going to come back from it. It's been kind of stressful also for me and Dustin to be able to schedule days to record and stuff, so we apologize as always for putting it kind of behind and stuff. And the first time we ever actually stopped the weekly episodes and stopped the streak, I felt bad, but I was being realistic about it. Just kind of like I can't really keep up with something that's not like realistic. But we're trying to come back, and this is pretty much the episode that's gonna do that. Like just like kick it off again, try to get it back out weekly. So appreciate y'all's patience. Which no one's really caring as it is because we're not like a big podcast or anything, and it's whatever. But it is irritating even for the small audience, like not being able to be consistent, and we apologize, but more recordings to come, especially this one, because I told Ryan, I was like, we gotta record one because like it just needs to be done. Like I just need somebody to get on here and do this with me. So and I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you guys enjoyed different kind of guests. No Dustin today, but it's yeah, it's fun stuff. But
yeah, and I don't know if we thought of a subject yet.
Well, first and foremost, I was gonna ask you about the consoles because I mentioned that to you. Like, so what is your? Obviously, it's gonna be depending on how they work. PS5 and Xbox Series X. How they're gonna work, and me and Ryan, Dustin, all of us pretty much have this circle of gamers. Like we're pretty much all of us are gamers. And that's just like a bit of something that I'll talk about before we get into the actual subject, which I do have in mind. But those two consoles and their designs have been released, which the Xbox Series X has been for like a little while, but then they just released the PS5, and it has gotten so much hate. But it's been like the type of hate that's like it's memeable, it's funny, like I see it everywhere now, and there's just so many great ones. But like as a general, like what's your opinion on the PS5 design? Because honestly, I remember whenever the PS4 design got released, and I remember loving it. And everyone made fun of that too, because it's like 3 books stacked on top of each other, but like crooked. Like it looks like really strange. But the PS4 design is definitely, I think I could still consider it better. But honestly, like I kind of like that direction they're taking on the PS5, where like it's got the white going on. Like I know that it looks like a freaking binder wrapped around like what people are like a white binder from school wrapped around a PS2. Like that's like that was the best one. But but what is your what do you think about the look of the PS5?
Just specifically the look, I think it looks cool. Like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I love the
and
memes too, but like, I mean, it just looks cool.
And finally, dude, here's one problem, and I have a PS4 now, and I love the PS4. Like I've always wanted both an Xbox One and PS4, and I was actually able to make that happen. But I still, to this day, have always said I hate, and I even back in the day, like I don't like the PlayStation controller. It doesn't feel comfortable at all to use. Like, yeah, it's the sticks being at the bottom and all that is different for me. Like that's like I'm fine with that. Ashley doesn't like that. She likes the like Xbox version of it where they're supposed to be like kind of thing, like left is at the top, right's near the bottom. Like it's different, but like what I'm trying to say about that is they finally gave us a fatter controller for the PS5. Like, I actually am already like, that looks like a Xbox controller. Like, I'm literally like, it does. Like, it looks really close, and I'm not saying that they're taking a note from the Xbox controller, but it definitely makes me think about it. And all those different designs that are like fake or whatever, but might actually be real. I don't know. Like the Spider-Man Miles Morales PS5 and the Cyberpunk one, those are the freaking best ones because uh Spider-Man one has like Miles Morales's like spider symbol on the center of the controller, and it's like black and red. It's like kind of just a sleeker design, I guess. But um, yeah, I kind of think it looks cool too. Like it is a little odd. I'll say this: with the way the PS5 stands, I don't know if they're going for like it's gonna need to stand up, which they always do that with these Xboxes and PlayStations and new releases. They show how it looks if it stand up. Which when the Xbox One came out, I'm pretty sure I remember them showing it horizontal, like, and because that's not meant to be stood up, but both of these so far look like they're trying to go for that. Like the X Series X, I can already tell you, I'm gonna probably want it upright because it's just like a literal, it's an actual box this time. Like it's like, and people make fun of that trash can, and like, freaking, there's so many different things people are saying. Um, the Series X for me on that way wins. I think it's a it wins over the PS5's design, but the PS5 does look weird when you turn it sideways. I'm wondering how that's going to work because the PS4 has been shown to stand up, but if you lay it flat, it's like normal. It's like a normal kind of flatter um console. Like it just like it looks good either way. PS5 looks like it doesn't like the way that the curves are is what people are really giving crap to is like those curves are weird to me. I feel like if they had it just like kind of straight up and down, like more flat, then it makes sense to be able to turn it over. People just need that choice because not everyone has the room for like the entertainment center like we do at our place. Like we have like enough room for something like that, but not a lot of people. Not like even you don't have like a lot of space between like your shelf and where the TV is. Like there's no way you'd be able to fit a PS5 standing up in where yours is. So it's like I'm just confused on like turning it sideways. Is it going to have that curve? Like what, but obviously what it's going to depend on is how the system works. Like, but as for design, yeah, I just thought why not discuss it because it's like it's a thing right now and we're gamers, so it's like whatever. But um, it's definitely an interesting look. The controller excites me way more than the console does. That's for sure.
But yeah, like it's I think both are cool in their own way. I'm definitely more of Xbox, just kind of have been just ever since. I mean, me and Trav really were just mostly Xbox. I'm glad Trav got a PS4 finally. I mean, that's cool. Like, and maybe one of these days I'll warm up to PlayStation again because I had a PS3 which I loved, but everybody was just on Xbox. So I mean that's my reasoning for having Xbox, and it's just easier. I already am familiar with it, and I mean having another system would be cool, but A, that's more money. And B, I mean, I'd have to find time to kind of feel like, okay, it was worth buying another system, like be on each enough, enough to justify me spending money on both. So I don't know. I've just
Yeah, and I
always
mean,
preferred Xbox.
and we're different in two ways with that. Where I spend probably way more time gaming than you do, but at
Yeah,
the
I
same
mean,
time,
ever since like I've labeled it,
but there's nothing wrong with either one of
I've
those. But
labeled it as like I right when I graduated high school, like right when Skyrim and Halo 4 came out like right along that time was when I really started dropping off gaming. I mean, I still game. I still love to play games, and I mean, or else I wouldn't have Xbox and all that, obviously. But that's right when it kind of dropped off. Me start spending money, like a
Everybody's
lot of
got
money on
yeah,
games.
it's the
Like,
money and the time, and like that's and me being kind of more into the gaming part where I like to play online with like Tyler and all them, but I also like to play solo games. Like I've been,
I
jumping back
mean,
into Odyssey and stuff.
there's
Like and so,
outlier stuff. Like I went ahead and, of course, I bought Red Dead 2. I mean, that's a
oh well, yeah,
completely.
that
I
was
mean,
a
that's just
you
like
know.
a total outlier
Which,
compared
by
to
the way,
like.
guys, like me and Ryan are huge Rockstar Games fans. Like that's one of our mutual gaming loves. Is like, okay, Rockstar Games, anything they put out, we're gonna buy it and play it. It's like it's an absolute just like
That and
Red
then
Dead 2 being one of the best games like ever made, and GTA 5 being as good as it was. Like they keep putting out good stuff, and I trust them with that. Like they haven't put out anything that I'm like. I mean, that I've played anyway. Some of the old school stuff I didn't play. I know there's some people out there that could probably say, like, I played every Rockstar game on every console. Like, then that's cool that if you did, but I'm not, I don't know, I'm not old enough where, like, I really cared about original GTA and, like, well, GTA 2, like,
Yeah, I mean, even
I
I
played
like
some 3, but
I played GTA 3, and that's just a flex because like GTA 3 on original Xbox, like I ended up playing that, and then my uncle bought Vice City, and then we bought San Andreas, and it just kind of grew from there. But yeah, I do not care about GTA 1. Like I never
um,
will. And
the
it's that weird
Red
top
Dead one made
down
me a Red Dead
gameplay.
fan, obviously, because I played that even a few times before 2 was even like out or coming out soon. Like I had already played the first one to death, but I love stories like that. I just love to just dive into like the Rockstar's version of like just human characters that just deal with stuff and like and they got their own humor and stuff obviously with GTA, but then obviously Red Dead being more of like a serious kind of take on that type of game. But um but all those flavors, it's like and some people there's probably some people out there that's like that or that. It's like why not both? Like just like play Red Dead and GTA and um I don't know. But anyway, um solo gaming, like uh down for it.
And
Multiplayer gaming.
dude, a super. I mean, this may take this isn't really changing the subject, but this is a super, super, um, very interesting topic that I never actually got to bounce off anybody till now. Oh, okay, me and Aaron, I guess I bounced it off Aaron. We always just discuss games. I mean, that's our big thing. Games and music, definitely. That's just a kind of our just if we're about to chat, we're gonna talk for like 5 hours about gaming. Like that's just what we're gonna do. So every time I get into a conversation with Aaron, it usually evolves into something very interesting. Like, and the latest thing that we were talking about is we were talking about Devil May Cry. Like it's a completely random example. I mean, any game could be used in this example. Um, what are we playing games for? Like, I know a quick answer to that would probably be like, okay, yeah, we're playing games for fun. Yeah. I mean that's the quick answer, but like um he's been on a Devil May Cry kick, and I'm not too familiar with it. I've played some of it here and there, especially recently, because
It's
like
fun. It's just
I,
I've never grabbed onto it either.
it's
But
hard. It's
I do
hard to
like
grasp.
the blend of like, okay, this is a game, but it's also anime. Like I love, because
Like it's
anime fan as well, so it kind of blends. But it's just it is what it is.
Well, we were discussing, and it's just funny how this could be applied to literally any game. But like, are you playing a game for like Devil May Cry, for example, is like very little story, and it's just pretty much 90% gameplay. You're not gonna play it for the story. Like, I mean, some people do. Like, there's this weird crowd
It's
of
for those
super
epic
fans
boss
that do.
battles, those crazy, like, all the different combinations of stuff. Like,
But
it's
but
hyperactive is what it is.
but then you compare that. I mean, there's really there's barely a comparison with that and like Red Dead. Like, it's weird because Red Dead, when you look back on it, it feels like mostly story, but
Yeah.
then it's also like pretty much 90% gameplay. You know what I mean? Like, it was a weird, it was very intriguing. Like, when me and him were kind of discussing, and then I was like, well, I mean, I guess it could all go back to like Mario, where that's like no
Yeah,
story
you're
and all gameplay pretty
yeah.
much. Like, and no matter what, I mean, a good game is a good game, obviously, but
And some have
usually,
different balances. Like Red Dead has the 50-50 aspect where I'm in love with the combat and the just walking around, like just even any small thing I'm doing on Red Dead, I'm enjoying it, no matter what it is.
yeah, like,
Uh, whereas but Red Dead 2 really made me pull in so hardcore into the story and the characters where it's like this is basically just one massive movie. Like that's
pretty
like
much, yeah.
it's you know,
Um,
um but the beauty of games and the reason that shows are good too is because you're getting way more hours than you are with a movie. Like
yeah,
Red Dead 2 was like even announced before it came out that it's this huge game. Like it was one of the longest that I've played in a long time. Um and it just depends, I guess, because like kind of like with Aaron's question, because
it it really depends. I mean, it's totally subjective. It's up to whoever, but it really got me thinking. Like, what else? Like, okay, and it got me to also thinking about, totally made up by me. It's whatever. But like, there's this triangle that games pretty much need to follow. That, I mean, no matter what. And you could probably even make this triangle with movies in a way, but that's a whole other thing. But gameplay, story, and then level design. And pretty much no game can have all three perfect, basically, unless you're Rockstar. Pretty, like, unless you're Rockstar or Naughty
level
Dog.
design is in like world building and all of that, and like Assassin's Creed Odyssey is still to this
Okay,
day blowing my mind on like, okay,
okay,
this is the biggest map I have ever played on ever. Like I remember when Ryan came over one time and while I was playing it, and I was just kind of explaining like every move I'm making, like every move of the joystick I'm enjoying with Odyssey,
yeah, man,
because
Odyssey, man.
even just taking in the graphics of like just here's what's blown my mind about Odyssey, and some of you aren't going to be Assassin's Creed fans, is whatever, but honestly, if you're a gamer, you're missing out. I think you should give it a shot. But and Odyssey, you could jump right into, by the way. It
Yeah,
basically takes place
Odyssey,
before all of them,
and,
so you
and
don't have to like. But I do try to tell people that want to get into Assassin's Creed, just start with the first one and just kind of like and it's like the first one and the Ezio trilogy are really are really big contenders for needed to just really. If you want to hit the really good story points of Assassin's Creed, it's going to be those, and obviously Origins and stuff. But my point is running through the forest. Like, Phil was trying to tell me, like, and it's fine, and I get it, but he was using his horse a whole lot. And, like, and there's nothing wrong with that in Odyssey, but I find myself just liking to run
Yeah,
because it
that's
takes
me
me
sometimes. Yeah.
because it took me longer to just run through a field and enjoy just the sights, because every frame of the game is like some kind of view you could see, some kind of like just it just feels very like there is life literally breathed into the game, where like, a deer running by and you can obviously choose to kill it or not, but obviously just let nature be nature. Random wolf attacks could just attack you, but like not even all of that. But like what blows my mind and what I told Ryan when he came over was like, look at all of this. Look at this huge, and I was like up on a hill. I can go to all of that and more. Like this game has no I have not hit a wall yet in the game where you can't. I mean, obviously the map is the map and there's only so far you can go. but like but the map is so big that I almost believe you could just go running around the whole world. Like obviously you can't, but that believability to me is everything. And the other day I was playing, and there's this mountain. I forgot what it's called, but I would like to. I'm kind of curious if I was to show Ryan, like, has he been to this mountain in the game yet? But it's this mountain where it's so high up that it's snowy. I went up there, and just the little detail, like Red Dead had this too, where like details of like Cassandra breathing and like her breath was coming out, like obviously because it's snowy, and like footprints in the snow, and just like all these little details that me and Ryan have always been obsessed with due to like Rockstar kind of training us to like enjoy details. And I remember before GTA 5 was coming out, that was like, or not 5, 4. When 4 was coming out, that was the big like new, like every detail is like something. And I remember us looking through the Game Informer, looking at the pictures, and just having this belief of like, oh my god, this is gonna be like the first game where. And I remember in the Game Informer it said something like every person you see is like their own person, like, and no one else really looks like them. Obviously, when you look back on 4 and now, there's probably plenty of people that are dressing the same and all that stuff, but at least the character models are really randomized when people spawn, where like there's in old games is where like, the older GTAs and stuff, you would run into just people that just have a general, like they look the same and maybe even wearing the
Well,
same thing in some characters. But 4 was like that first time where I realized games can start being like everything feels way more real and realistic. And I think that's it's
and
a little bit of
even
my
four
a little bit of
now still would hold up. I mean, obviously you got
yeah.
five,
I
which is
really thought
miles
about going
better,
back
but
because I have it on disc from a long time ago, buying it at freaking Game Point, and um I want to return to it for sure, but this one day. But yeah, I except the driving is garbage compared to 5, but I would just
yeah.
have to deal with it because I actually played a little bit of 4 and was like, nope, because of the driving. But it's just gonna take her to like. I think she would like it once she got past the first few missions. You just got. It's like every game you start playing, you gotta get used to it again to realize, oh, okay, because I always give games at least a day. You gotta play a game on a day one, and then like sleep on it, play it again. If you're not into it by then, it's whatever. But yeah, for Aaron's question, like, and it obviously opens up a whole can of worms with different things. But same way I feel about movies like Star Wars and stuff like that, and reasons I love those franchises is just it's this escape factor. And
Yeah. I
I
mean,
would
that's what it
rather
comes down
play.
to for
I
sure. Like,
love Call of Duty and stuff like that, and the new Modern Warfare was decent for what it was, like a brand new kind of take on, okay, we're doing Modern Warfare again, but it's like brand new, where it plays like a little bit of Battlefield mixed in. It feels more not so stiff, like I don't know, it's a little bit more realistic. And I love Call of Duty and everything, and I've been a fan of the franchise for a while, but I would rather go into like a game like Fallen Order, escape to the Star Wars universe with that, or Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or like just it's just always that preferred thing where that escape factor where you're not in your own type of modernized world, which GTA is, but it's an escape in a different way where it's just you're just escaping with these characters more so than like it and then there's so many different flavors to that where like GTA games and like they have the story, I guess, and then games like Assassin's Creed like have that too, but they have like something backing behind it that makes it even better is this huge world building. And Odyssey still, every time I get on it, blows my absolute mind with how massive that map is. I've never played on a game like even Spider-Man PS4 cannot touch Odyssey's map. Like it's like Spider-Man PS4 is a huge version of New York, almost trying to be really, really accurate. And one of the reasons, going back to Ryan saying I got a PS4 and he's glad for it, that was one of my big reasons. I wanted to play that game. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, but then there's also other games like Uncharted and the new freaking Ghost of Tsushima coming and like all these exclusives that are only on PS4 where now it's like, oh, I have access to all of it now. And sometimes I have to remember that when I watch a game that's like only on PlayStation trailer, I'm like, oh, duh, I can do that. Like I can get that. Sometimes I'm still stuck in that like I'm only on Xbox. But do I use my PS4 as much as my Xbox? No, but it's still like it's cool to just go over to it and play stuff that I can't, and I'm still working on Last of Us Remastered, so I mean that's something that's not, and that means I'm gonna be able to play 2 as well. And obviously I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but I've always just believed in that where it's like why not have both? But back to what I was saying is yeah, gameplay and all that versus world building. And if a game like Red 2 where it perfectly balanced right in the center of that triangle, then you got a great game. Sometimes other games lean towards one side or the other. Um,
I mean, you brought up a really good point. Like Odyssey is a good story, good story, great level
Good enough,
design.
yeah. Good enough.
Yeah, not as good as like, when
It
you come
wasn't. It's not as good as Origins,
for,
but it's
yeah, I mean,
definitely
I
Origins felt more
mean,
personal.
like with,
But
story
then
level
but then
design.
Origins doesn't have as big as a game aspect with world building. It does, but Odyssey is much more massive. So that's another example of balance where Odyssey, I mean, they both start with an O, but Origins has more of a story, a better story in my opinion, and then Odyssey has the better game overall. Like that's so weird how that's can be balanced
But it's
like
like,
that,
but
but
it goes back to like, with what Aaron was saying, what are you playing it for? Obviously for escapism, for fun, but
for that rush too of just like
are
you kill an enemy in a game, you just get that rush and excitement or whatever of like being
so
awesome
that's
and just
why I've always, I don't know, I guess it just depends on the game. I guess that's the more complicated answer. Like it just depends in the sense of like, you know, Red Dead versus Mario. That's not a comparison at all, but like it's literally like, do you prefer just straight gameplay or like story? Like, because I mean, if the story was totally lacking in a game, some people are like, yeah, this game is not really all that good. Whereas I
maybe like
wouldn't feel that
Borderlands.
way.
No offense to Borderlands, but Borderlands is like that is absolute one of the funnest types of games, hyperactive, crazy, but I'm not really I like the story. Borderlands has actually done a really good job of creating like this funny sort of story behind it, but it's not like I'm caring on the level of Red Dead.
No way,
Like
no way,
it's like
because you're
and
not. That's a really good example. Like you're playing it for the
yeah,
gameplay.
Borderlands is
You're not
just
playing
for
it for the
gameplay
story
and fun with
whatsoever.
friends.
Yeah.
Because Borderlands, I've said a billion times, I just can't handle it by myself. Like
No,
it's so stale.
no, I
So with other
can't.
people, it's a full on co-op experience. Whereas Red Dead, I probably wouldn't want for there to be someone else running around in my story. I would want it all to be in my own control.
Yeah, I get what
So
you
it's
mean for
so it's
sure.
different.
I get what you mean for sure. Like,
And I feel the same about Assassin's Creed, but Assassin's Creed, I told Tyler the other day, yeah, they need to wake up to with next gen coming. They have no excuses anymore. Like an Assassin's Creed story that has at least one other person. That's my dream AC game. So I mean, maybe one day we'll get. And I
yeah,
told him, do no BS where you're a second Master Chief type of thing, where you're a copy of the other character, like a legit. There's a like freaking a way out, like just
yeah,
that, like that was a perfect example of like that's a story driven, but you play as two characters. But with Assassin's Creed, there'd be so many opportunities because there would be customization. You still can make your character specific to you. Um, so, and they can't say anything about not being able to do that. I'm not saying they did, but Unity had that little, they had co-op missions where it wasn't technically online versus a bunch of people, but you can invite a team of people to like help you track down a target and stuff like that. And it was kind of trashy. There was a lot of glitches, and Unity is still the worst one, but they've tested the waters basically is what I'm trying to say of like co-op Assassin's Creed. I feel like it can work. And given the choice of like you could do it solo the whole game or you could do it with a person, like I feel like that could have a lot of potential. And maybe rather they incorporate something like that in Valhalla or it's the next game. Like I feel like it could really shine if they did a two-player, like even just two. I don't even need like a whole team of people, but it's just like if I was talking to the very head person at Ubisoft, like that would be what I pitch. Is just like why not a two-player Assassin's Creed game? Because like me and Tyler, like that's like he would be jumping up and down play something like that with me. Whereas because he likes solo games, but he's more excited about jumping in with friends and playing other things. And you know, in Rocket League is a free game on PS4 and Xbox. No story, just pure fun with cars hitting soccer balls. Like
yeah,
that's all it is. So it's in Minecraft. You know, Minecraft has dabbled into that world like the Minecraft dungeons and all that, trying to make Minecraft shaped into. I mean, it's got its own universe. Like they could do anything with the Minecraft universe and make it like story driven, and that's what they've been trying to do. But starting out, and when we played it on 360, like it's just a craft your stuff and that's it. There's no so, but it still was fun in that way. But I will always prefer this. I'll just call it like center of the triangle type of game where like you balance everything. Those are the games that I get hyped about, and that's why we like GTA and all that because it's
yeah.
like
It's
a
that's
story
definitely a
and
balance. I
gameplay.
mean, yeah, it's always been a balance. Like with really any of those GTA's, like,
Perfectly balanced the way things should be. But yeah, I don't know.
but yeah, I mean, and uh, yeah, that I mean, there's so many factors to it. Like you said, multiplayer, co-op, that adds whole other layers to it. Because like obviously, like if it's a co-op slash multiplayer, you are gonna start caring, not caring about the story at that point. Like the more you're playing with somebody else, it's just for the escapism, really. Which is why games are freaking amazing. I don't know. Just
Yeah,
this whole
they
other
can take
level of escapism. I don't know, but what?
yeah, it can take you on another level than like I mean a movie can do it in a
Movie's
different way.
great.
Movies are great for their own reasons, but like
Mm,
games, I'll never say one's better than the other. Like I don't know. Like it's they're two different types of entertainment, and I don't like to compare them.
nah,
Movies like throwing on like A New Hope or something like that is always gonna be like a gem to sit and watch Star Wars, like for its own reasons of escapism. and just enjoying the universe and kind of just paying attention to like the little stuff that you don't really pay attention to. Like every time I watch anything again, I just try to like, if I can learn something again about this universe or learn something more than I knew before, like or maybe a bit of dialogue I've never really noticed, then I'll try to catch that because that's kind of why rewatching is just experience it again because why not? Um, and with a game, like playing like COD online, like I'm playing that because I want to get a team together where we can all go in and wreck stuff. Like that's literally like the goal of like, okay, because COD multiplayer literally has no story. It's trying to, it has its own like, the seasons and all that coming out with Modern Warfare is kind of like, it's trying to have like cutscenes that relate to multiplayer. And some games kind of take that too far. I'm not saying COD is, but some games like to just drive home a story that's not there kind of thing. Like, and just feels like, and I can't think of a good example right now, but um, maybe that's why I couldn't get into Destiny really either, because I was really, really into the online aspect of Destiny of versus mode. I'd rather go against people than freaking do a raid for loot over and over and over with other people. Destiny was just I couldn't get
Yeah,
any farther
Destiny was
because
very much an unbalanced.
where like I
I
didn't care
did
at all
not
about the
care.
story.
No. And I mean, maybe,
And Halo is a evenly balanced where that's all you're all about the story and the gameplay.
yeah, for
So
sure. Yeah. Um,
it just depends on what it is. And there's all to and that's the beauty of entertainment in general. And even if you just want to look at gaming as a category on its own, gaming has all kinds of flavors in it. Like just you know, that's basically what we're discussing even as it is generally is there's so many different aspects to it but the fact that it's all there for you to enjoy is just that's the beauty of it is like it's all there. It's all there for you like no matter what. um it just might take a little bit of money to, to get whatever you want, um but yeah, that's why people pre-order a game right away. Like, oh, I'm dropping $6 on this because they're hyped about. It's something else to look forward to whenever a game's coming out. There's almost something really special I've always found. Ever since I was a kid and now, it never really left me either. Maybe I got more overly excited about games whenever I was a kid, but I feel like now I'm an adult where like I know to keep myself calm because I've learned from my mistakes of not overhyping a game and like it turns out to be just not what I expected.
yeah, like,
But
toward the beginning
I
of the
yeah.
podcast, I mentioned, like, yeah, this, like Halo 4 and AC3 definitely is where it dropped off majorly, not completely, but those two games really, I just just learned the hard way, like, just do not get so hyped. Like,
It's just like the excitement for the game is better than the real game, and that's not how it's supposed to be at all.
yeah.
So
And
so
looking
like
back, I mean, those
Ghost of
games aren't.
Tsushima, that's like I'm excited about it, but I'm like, well, I know nothing else though, other than what it is. Like, and I am gonna get it. I already know that it looks good enough to me where it's like, yeah, that's an instant buy. Like, I mean, because it's whatever. Like, cause then I'm just waiting. I'm waiting on a discount, and sometimes I don't want to wait. It's just like I'm that kind of gamer. And for the people that some of you are and some of you aren't, and I know there's a lot of people that like to wait for discounts and stuff, and it's whatever. And I've done that for certain games that I accidentally kind of let slide. Sometimes I won't buy a game at first, and then I just kind of forget about it. Um, but then a discount happens. Like I still haven't even played Borderlands 3, and that was supposed to be like right away. So that's another example. Like I'm excited to, but it's prices already gone down, so I'm good now. If I wanted to get it now, I could. But I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer just because I'm already playing other things. But yeah, but with Ghost though, it's like it's given me enough to know. It's kind of like whenever a movie is coming out too, where it's like, uh, sometimes I just need like one or two trailers. I'm just like I don't want to know too much more, and then like it's got my money, and I go see it. So it's I don't know, but um, yeah, like gaming, it's its own animal for sure. I don't remember what else I was saying about that, but
But yeah, I mean, everybody has their own. It's such a diverse thing to talk about, but it was really neat. Like me and Aaron kind of boiling it down to like there is a balance there, whether anybody realizes it or not. There really is like, and then of course you got people who, like I said before, like kind of complain if a story's not good enough in a game, and it's like, I mean, it's fair. That's fair because I mean, games are getting more sophisticated, definitely. Um, but that's really
yeah, because it's everything that we
not a
can do with
complaint,
graphics nowadays is the reason. Like everything we can do with the way a game looks now can really help with story really well. Like
Red
acting
Dead
in
2
games.
being I mean, that is the peak, like, at least for right now. I mean,
Yeah,
that is the
one of the best
peak of
looking games of
like
all time. Yeah,
best looking, like, it, acting, writing, like, I mean, there's so much that goes into
like
all that, but
yeah, with the whole Andy Serkis thing, and like, I mean, I know he doesn't have anything to do with that, but the freaking photorealistic capturing that you do with acting, and like how back when we were playing games when we were kids, the voice actor that played the character did never hardly ever looked like the character, and now we're
yeah.
to the point where it's like, no, they're in there acting it out.
Hmm.
And I remember when Black Flag was coming out too, and I remember seeing like a little thing about Blackbeard and all them, and he was doing like all the motions and the acting for. I mean, Black Flag, it's good graphics, but it's not like Red Dead or anything like that. It's still an older game. You can tell when you play it now. It's like it's older, but it was one of those first games that I had seen like, okay, facial expressions and stuff that the actual actors are doing, and they're playing out their character. We're just getting to this point now where it's pretty much assumed that games are the actor putting the dots all over them and doing all of the motion and everything. And like, look at freaking uh Cal in Jedi Fallen Order. That is, and I forget his name off the top of my head, but I know, like, I'm really familiar with him, Shameless and other stuff, but like, in obviously Gotham, but um, he's great. And I like when after I've played that game twice now, I'm just like, yeah, I couldn't have picked. I mean, there could have been another guy playing Cal, but he's amazing. Like, that dude is amazing. Like, he knows how to bring out emotion with his face, and like everything he did in the game is like, that is him. Like, that's exactly his character. Cal looks like him in real life,
But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, everyone knows by now. I mean, especially if you've been playing games for as long as we've been playing games, just the level of detail, the level of care and appreciation, and um, whatever else goes into making a game. I don't know. Like, just
the
it's
gaming
mind blowing,
industry is
man.
bigger than ever. And I mean, we could probably argue that for when we were kids, but honestly now it's to that point where, like, for a good example, I found out everybody on my shift at work, the fresh cap, like our crew that I from 1 to 10, every single one of us plays games. Like, it literally, like, when I found that out, it really kind of made me realize, like, we're living in that time, and I knew this already, but it really put it in front of me even more, like, right in front of my face. Like, we're living in this time where you might as well assume everyone's a gamer. Like, I mean, like, you know, down to every age. Like, Dustin telling me the story about that guy that watches his videos that's like, and forgive me, Fire Breather, I know you from Twitter, but I don't know your age, man. I don't know your age, and I apologize, but he's supposed to be like, I don't know, maybe I'm probably wrong, but 40s or going on even further. I don't know, but he plays Minecraft all the time. Like, just even that is just like crazy. Whereas, you know, our parents, you know, we never got to really experience stuff like that. But it's just cool knowing that all ages, like, it's just like the gaming industry in general. My point I'm trying to make is just bigger than it's ever been, and things are way more like technically like more advanced, like just like than ever. So it kind of just like, if you're a gamer that grew up from like really young age, like I did, playing games, and it's like there's no better time to live but in the gaming industry right now. It's crazy.
But yeah, that's definitely something. And we went pretty much the whole podcast talking about, like I predicted. But yeah, that's definitely an interesting thing to think about, is just whatever game you're playing, I'm sure there's just a balance for you, like just an extra layer to look at, like why am I enjoying this so much? Why is this so fun? I mean, it just depends on the game, but yeah, I mean, it was interesting talking with Aaron about just this particular balance, and you can apply it to pretty much anything. I don't know, that was just really cool. I like breaking stuff down and, you know, putting it into a box, basically.
Oh
That's
yeah, and
just,
that's one reason. That's one reason Ryan will get texts from me and stuff about, like, if I'm playing a game and then I'll just go into a paragraph about why I love it. Is exactly what we talked about in this whole podcast. Is like, I love describing to people how I feel about a game without holding it in. Like, obviously, if it doesn't come up in conversation, I might not, whatever. But like, you know, Thomas is a gamer. Like, I'll describe games to him. I'll describe
like,
games to
oh,
Ryan.
a
Obviously,
good
Dustin.
a good example of that, that reminds me of like my cousin Emily, and she's like 16 or whatever. I mean, she vaguely knows about games and gaming, and I don't know. I'm going to try to introduce her to everything and get her fully educated on all this. But she literally was just asking one day, like, "Yeah, what's Halo?" And I'm like, I don't know, like where to begin with Halo. Like, and of course that was so long ago now. That was before even like 5 came out or anything. But that was funny. I was just like, I don't know. You are a space marine.
Yeah, intergalactic warfare. I mean, that's all it is. Like,
And
it's
you are
basically
killing
Star Wars, but
aliens to the
more
max. That's the
soldiery. You know,
game, man.
well, yeah, in a way.
And
Yeah,
that's really it. I mean, that's your classic arcade game in a way.
yeah. What would be your recommendation, sir?
Um,
Or if you don't have one, then I can say mine. But I figured maybe you did. But if you don't,
I don't know. I think the easy route would be literally like just play games. Like,
have an escape. Yeah,
I
like
mean,
if you're
it's
wanting to
I
get,
mean,
if you're wanting
it's
to get, like, and like I said, we're living in a time where gaming's bigger than ever.
yeah,
And that
I'll tell you.
means the videos about gaming and YouTube and Google are bigger than you have a mass quantity guidelines for everything. If you're wanting to get into gaming, like even a little bit, like just look up stuff. Like, do what me and Ryan do. I like to YouTube. Like, I love watching videos. It doesn't matter what it's about. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
man,
it
that's
kind of
all.
does.
I mean, I think
But
YouTube, my love for YouTube just only growing. I think that's kind of pushed it's not really pushed me away from gaming, but it's definitely one of the things that I'd rather do than game is just watch a bunch of YouTube. But I don't know. It's
Like, and
just
that's
it's different moods, I guess. Like I'll really get in the mood to like I still need to finish Odyssey.
And then the thing with me is like I would always rather game, but then like it's weird how like but I come back to YouTube by the end of the night because my wind down time is usually YouTube, like where it's like, okay, I played a game for like 2 hours, like and sometimes you get into a game, then you realize you're not feeling it, and then you go to YouTube. Like it's like gaming first,
Yeah.
and it's like always gaming first, maybe YouTube in between, and then like if I have a movie planned for that night, like movie always comes like second or last. Like it's
Yeah,
weird how that works,
a
but gaming has
movie,
always
watching
been like,
movies, man. Like I got into this super rare mood where I was like, I'm gonna watch just movies this whole weekend, and that's what I did. Like that is so
and there's
rare for
nothing
me
there's
now.
nothing better than that too. Whenever you feel like you like movies have this thing where if you have movies on your list, you kind of want to watch mentally. Like once you get them done, you feel a lot better because they're not weighing on your mind to see anymore. You're just like, oh, I saw that now, and no, if you like it enough, then you're like, let's go again or whatever. But it just depends on what it is, and the time and having time for all of it's different. Uh, but my recommend. Well, what I was gonna say about Ryan's recommendation is this: like, if gaming is bigger than ever now, so there's so many. Like, there's probably so many channels that have videos on like how to get into gaming, like
Like
or how where to
I say
start
that,
type
and
deals.
like some people, there's some people that really there's still a lot of people that don't really care that much about gaming, or they're just kind of didn't really grow up with it or whatever. I personally think it's never too late,
Oh
but
yeah, it's
it's
never too
never
late.
too late. But I don't know. It's great. I mean, and of course, I mean, there's 2 million, 2 billion, 2 trillion different games out there. I mean, you'll probably find something. um,
My recommendation is always have something to look forward to. Which honestly, I'll just say this: that was what the episode was gonna be about. But I didn't really have enough. I mean, I had stuff to go on. I'm sure we could have created a conversation out of it. But I'm kind of glad it just like
yeah,
you said,
that's
when you and Aaron talk about stuff, it goes into something, and I'm glad we were able to fill up an hour with like or however long this is with just just stuff like,
and
and I like those surprises, and that happens with me and Dustin all the time where it always turns into something different than I expected. But having something to look forward to, that is something that I do like. That'll be another episode, and we have mentioned it before, and me and Ryan always, that's like one of
that's
our
one of my
secret
mottos. That's
quotes.
always been one of my
um
mottos is just look forward to
like
something. Like no matter how your day was, no matter
Especially in the
what's
time
going
we're living
on.
in, is kind of was going to be
Yeah,
my point. Is
you
I wasn't going to touch
always
too much. I wasn't going to touch too much on what's going on now. Me and Dustin have just decided like the podcast. Nah, everyone's making videos about it. I don't want to jump into that. It's just like allowing the podcast to be an escape from everything going on is how we want to treat it. And that's kind of how I feel about something to look forward to, whether it's a movie coming out or like a game coming out months away. I don't care. Godzilla versus Kong pushed back to freaking May of 2021. I'm not actually upset about it, but I'm looking forward to that because they can work on it for a year and it makes it better, most likely. So, like, no matter what it is and no matter how far away it is, just let your mind rest. Just having something, because that can be, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, that can be a lifesaver, really. I mean, if I'm to get really deep with it, like, you might be having certain kind of thoughts. You might be kind of feeling negative, feeling down. And just when you realize, like, oh, this and this one thing's coming out, you know what? I really want to play or watch that. Or, no, it doesn't even necessarily have to be play or watch. Like, maybe I don't know. I could get really deep. Like maybe like you've had a divorce or whatever, and like you're gonna get to see your kid this week or whatever because they trade your kid back and forth type of thing. Like that's something. That's something to look forward to, and I feel like that can go a longer way than people make it out to be, like mentally, because you know, like I mean, if you have nothing to look forward to, then it's like, what is life? Like, it's like there always should be something around the corner that you get hyped about, just because I feel like that
You
can
could
help
even
with a lot of
plan
things.
like having something really good to eat for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, even that,
Like
some of
just
that, and I
I
forgot
mean,
that. I honestly forgot to even mention that. Like,
yeah, I
even
mean
that small, like,
it's up to the individual. It's up to you. Like look forward to something and your day will get better because of it. I mean, I don't care what kind of day you're having. Like, it's just always
and
been
I
my
even told
motto.
somebody recently, and I don't know
That's
how
how I
much.
always try so hard to be positive no matter what, and that's really how I do it. There's no other secret, really. I don't know.
Yeah, and to jump off what you said, around every dark corner, there's always light. I have always believed that, where a lot of people are like, man, I'm feeling so down. Like, you don't really realize what kind of light you're going to be under after you get through
Because
like,
like it's
like Bible even said, like,
it
we're gonna
yeah,
go
it
through trials and tribulations. Like, if the
the,
more you push through, the more you're gonna get to the better. Like, it just, and it's
the
happened, and
thing yeah, that's
my
literally
whole
what I was
life
about to
has been
say
that trials
is
and tribulations followed by good things. That's all my
yeah,
life's been.
because
That's what everybody's life is.
it gets bad, then it gets worse, then it gets better. I mean, there's nowhere else to go other than better. So,
And I always tell people, enjoy that better, and not negative, but enjoy the good stuff while you can, too, because you just never
yeah.
know. But it always feels like this too. The better stuff always feels better or more. I don't know how to explain it. The better stuff and the light feels more intensely good than the bad feels bad. I don't know how to explain that, but that's kind of like, I mean, in my opinion, that's always how it feels whenever I reach a good point in my life. I'm like, you just have that moment where you shake your head, like, man, why was I so down? Like, you literally almost, I mean, there's just things you can't forget, and I understand that, but sometimes you almost forget something you went through because it's just like, well, I'm on the other side now, so it don't matter. And also, don't hang on to every little thing that went on in
No,
your
and
life. You
I'm trying to
gotta
get
let
better
you gotta
with
let
that.
things go.
I'm trying every day to get
Life
better with
moves
that.
on
And
no matter what, and it is hard, and I get it. There's a lot of people. I mean, the world the way it is right now, there's so much going on. Like, people are absolutely lost. Like, it's intense right now. Um, but do not be deceived, children. Like, that's all I could say is, don't be deceived by anything or anybody, and also don't let anybody uh tell you should believe something whenever you should, or what you believe is different. Just do your own thing.
then
Just
if you have
understand that
to,
you are an individual. Can
yeah,
make your own choices. Don't let your family or anybody drag you down. I know a lot of people do that kind of thing. Family pressure and all this, it's BS. Just freaking, I don't care how young you are, too. You can still stand up and be an individual. Anyway, I think that pretty much wraps up this episode of the Bearded Bro Show podcast. I'd like to thank Ryan for coming back on once again, saving the day with doing just another episode with me, because I just needed another episode to be done, and I'm glad that we were able
yeah.
to crank one out. But is there anything you want to say before we go?
No, that pretty much wraps it up. I said all I was wanting to say.
Okay.